Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Quartet Lesson 9 Part 3 live stream. Tonight we are only covering two sections because that's all we have left in Lesson 9. They are eru, enai, and moshi nai. Actually, it's mo shinai, mo shinai. These are the colors we use for each of our grammar points. It's light blue for any of the new grammar points, and the other colors are all for words that haven't shown up yet in Genki or Quartet, but that we feel are important for you to learn. Maybe they show up on the JLPT, or they're just very common words, by the way, are pink. If you have any questions tonight that are unrelated to the lesson or just general questions, general Japanese questions, and you'd like Yuki or I to answer them, not just someone in the chat, make sure you put question before your question so that we don't miss it. During the practice times at the end of each section, it's very helpful if you put Q time before your answers so that we know to read those out and correct those for you. The first section tonight is possible and not possible with eru and enai. But before we get started with that, this is a live stream, so let's get Yuki over here and say hello to everyone. How you doing, everyone? Sorry that the music is over.
こんにちは。今日もよろしくです。
よろしくお願いします. We've been doing this live stream for I don't know, 2 years, and I never thought about putting music into the waiting room. And I clicked on a live stream, someone else's live stream on YouTube yesterday by accident, and it was a waiting room, and they had music playing and a little animation. I was like, oh my goodness, I should probably do that. And I forgot about it until about 5 minutes ago. I was like, oh, I should throw a song up in here.
すごいね、それ YouTube さんがやってくれるファンクションなの？
違います。
あ、そうですか。
違う。
はい。
他の人のライブストリームを見て、その人がやってたから、俺もした方がいいんじゃねえかって思ってた。
はい。
We are live, right? Okay. Whew. Okay, we're live. Yeah, the music, they could hear the music, so it must mean we're live. For a second, I got nervous there.
大丈夫ね、向こうもついてる。
あ、そうだね。よかったです。This is a fear of mine now that we had one lesson where we went 30 minutes extra. Big fear of mine. But anyway, how is everyone today? Let's go ahead and say hello to everyone who's here. The first person was Come to Japan Dan, who says tons of bonus content at beginner to intermediate Japanese over at ToKiniAndy.com. Yes, the sponsor of this live stream is, of course, the members of ToKiniAndy.com, the Patreon, and the YouTube. Thank you so much for all of your support, guys. It's because of you that we're able to keep doing what we're doing.
はい、ありがとうございます。
Commenter says, yo, what's up? And I said, yo, how's it going? We had DK5754, thumbs up. Felipe says, hola, hola, and hola to you as well. That's it, I think. Oh, Dashiel says, haro, and Loopy says, 興奮興奮
って感じじゃないの。
興奮そういう感じ? Yeah. All right, but anyway, it's good to see you guys.
はい。
I'm pretty good today. Went to karaoke with my friends and sung some Japanese songs. Nice. That's fun. Awesome. You guys have karaoke booths down there then, I guess, like we do in Japan, where it's not like at a bar or something. You can go into your own little booth and just sing with your friends? Because I'll tell you what, we don't have that in America. We only have, well, I think they started to do it recently in some bigger cities, but we've only got it's like a night at the bar and you have to sing in front of a bunch of people you don't know. And everyone gets a chance to do it. So it's very, very different from Japanese karaoke. It sounds like that's not the kind you did. It sounds like you did the Japanese type, so that's awesome.
そのカラオケはないね。
日本に。そのみんなの前で歌うやつ。And some snack bars and things and stuff they do it.
だけどさ、スナックバーがもうさ、かなり少ないじゃん。だからもう。
And it's not like an event where they do it for the night.
確かに。
They had, I went to actually just a regular bar. There was a darts bar when I lived in Suzaka, Hearts, and they had a karaoke, you could request the karaoke box thingy, and they had it just all over the bar, and you could get a little... whatever you call that thing, the little computer where you can choose the songs. And you could just sing anytime you wanted to. You just had to ask.
そうなんだ。
So I have seen stuff like that, but it's a little bit different. And usually people only do it when there's people they know around them.
大人なお店ですね。
いや、そうかな。まあね。
はい。
Nice, we had our own little booth. I hated SingStar as a kid. I can't imagine going to karaoke. It's quite fun. It's addicting when you go with people you're friends with, at least. It can be very fun. But we haven't gone in like 2 years. That was the most difficult part of learning Japanese. What was the most difficult part of learning Japanese for you? Kanji? Not really kanji. Reading kanji.
ああ、そうだね。
Understanding kanji in essence is simple. There's just so many of them and there's so many readings of them. So actually reading the kanji, the readings of the kanji were the most difficult part, I suppose. Still a difficult part for me. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm not sure. That's probably the most difficult part, I'd say. ね。はい。
はい。
じゃあ why don't we go ahead and jump into the first section?
はい。
Ready?
じゃあ、
We'll get Yuki.
私はさらば。
はい。
さらば。
また後でね。Yuki will be here for the next part of the story tonight. So, let's go ahead. This is still on screen. Sorry. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump into... Oh, wait. Question. How did you use a basic dictionary of Japanese grammar? I used it in quite a unique way, actually. You might have a mistake in the next slide. Boop. Nope. Nope, it's all good. So, in the Dictionary of Basic Japanese Grammar, you have a lot of example sentences. So I took at least one example sentence from each. I think I took more than that. And I put every single one of them into an Anki deck. And I used that Anki deck for sentence practice. Because a lot of the words that they use are quite simple. So they were mostly words I already knew. So to just memorize the grammar, I think I put all of the sentences into an Anki deck. I lost that Anki deck, by the way. And I used it to study. And then I would pick 3 or 4 grammar points, like from the front of the book, basically. And I'd make sentences. I'd make 5 or 6 sentences for each every day. And then I had my Japanese tutor check those sentences for me and correct them for me. And we would make sentences together using that. So I use it in a very different way from many people, I feel like. But yes, I quite enjoyed it. Now I just use it for, yeah, the U is correct, Dan. We're going to talk about that. Now I just use it for, checking myself, making sure I'm correct about certain things, or when I'm not sure about certain things, I'll check in the dictionary. Right now I'm mostly in the red one, the advanced or intermediate dictionary, because in Quartet it's mostly one of those. But every once in a while I jump back into the yellow one to make sure I've got something down. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We've got possible and not possible with eru and enai. And this is not just the verbs eru and enai. It's the suffix eru and enai. It's when you attach it to a verb stem. By verb stem, I mean the mas verb stem. So for like taberu, you drop the ru. And then you would add mas if it was tabemas, like the mas form of taberu. But the stem of that is just tabe. So tabeeru means possible to eat. But you're generally not going to be using eru and enai for things like can eat or can sleep. Things that are doable, like that I can do, actions that you can do, you have the capabilities to do. You're not going to be using eru and enai for that. You're going to be using the potential form, which you've already learned way back in Genki 2 for that. These are more like something is possible to occur, or something is possible to occur, or something is not possible to exist or to occur. Things like that. It's a little bit more precise in that situation. It's possible that this thing can occur. It's possible for this thing to exist. Another thing to mention is that these are mostly written forms. You're not going to use them super frequently in conversation, except for the colloquial, not necessarily colloquial, but these two phrases, arieru, which is the combination of aru, arimasu, right, to have, and arienai. Then the first one, arieru, means that something is possible. It's possible. Arieru. Arienai means something is impossible. That's it. And those ones are actually both very, very common in conversation. Now, with that said, we were just working on, obviously, this lesson this week, and we've been watching JoJo a lot recently, when we're eating lunch or dinner. And I had just finished translating all the sentences for this section, and I already knew the grammar point, so it wasn't like it was new to me or anything, but during the episode of JoJo we were watching that day, in the space of like 10 seconds, one of the characters used this grammar point, and it wasn't arieru or arienai. It was just another usage of it in a space of 10 seconds. They used it twice. So it will come up, not just in writing, but it is more of a writing form besides the phrases ありえる and ありえない. But you may hear it, in other media and stuff like that. So keep it in mind. And remember, it means it's not I can do this. It's this is possible to occur, or this is not possible to occur, or it depends on the verb that's attached to it, of course. But this could happen, or this could exist, things like that. You'll see what we mean in the example sentences. So let's go ahead and jump into it. The first one is 考えうるアイディアはすべてメモするようにしています. I make it a point to write down every idea I can think of. And what I forgot to mention on the last slide, but it's a good reason to have this example sentence first, is that for 得る only, when it's in its dictionary form, it can be read as either 得る or うる or 得る. And generally speaking, whether or not it's read as 得る or うる, and remember, only in the dictionary form, not when it's 得ない, not when it's 得ます, not when it's, any other form. Just in its dictionary form, it can be read either way, and it tends to be a person-to-person thing. There's, generally speaking, no, like, okay, in this situation, this one's uru, and in this situation, it's eru. Nothing, well, there is just one situation. Otherwise, it's just people have preferences on how they want to use it. This is the only exception to that. With the verb 考える, it is always read as uru, at least when it's in its dictionary form. So 考えうる. It's always uru, okay? Otherwise, with other verbs, it can be either eru or uru, any other verb except for kangairu, right? But it doesn't matter which one you use, and one person might say okori eru, and one person might say okori uru. All right? And by the way, that phrase that I mentioned earlier, arieru and arienai, I was just going to say that I've never heard someone say ariuru, but that's not true. I have heard people say ariuru. I have heard it in places before. So if it's in dictionary form, it could be read as u. Anyway, let's break this one down. It says, I make it a point to write down every idea I can think of. So kangaiyuru. So possible to think of. Idea. So ideas possible to think of. Wa, that's the topic, emphasizing what comes next. Subete, all. Memo. Memo is memo. Suru, memo suru. So I make a memo, all of them. Yo ni shiteimasu. So I make it a point to make a memo of every idea that I can think of. That's the sentence. Next one is パワハラになり得る行動は部下を叩く、無視をするなどがあります. So actions that are possible to become power harassment are hitting your inferiors, ignoring, etc. Power harassment has been a big topic in Japan for quite a while now because it's very common. At least it was for many, many years up until recently. I think it still is pretty common now. But it's something that is talked about and very much discouraged in modern Japan. So it's something that comes up a lot. Pawahara means power harassment. Ni narieru, so possible to become. Kodo, so actions that are possible to become power harassment. That's the topic. Wa buka o tataku, so hitting people, hitting your inferiors. Mushi o suru. Mushi suru means to ignore someone. So mushi o suru means to ignore someone, right? Nado. Nado is etc. Ga arimasu. So those are the things that we have. Actions that are possible of becoming power harassment. All right, this is the question time preview. This is the section not for you to come up with an answer yet, just to give you something to think about so that you know what the question is going to be when we get to it, and you've maybe had some time for an answer to brew in the back of your mind while we go through the rest of the example sentences. The first one is どんな人生があなたにとってありえない人生ですか? So what is a type of life that is impossible for you, or impossible for you to imagine even? So for Yuki, it was 牡蠣が食べれない人生なんてありえない. So a life where I couldn't eat oysters. So and that nante is like something like a life where I couldn't eat oysters. ありえない. It's impossible, or impossible for me to even think about, basically. All right, so that's going to be the question when we get to it. So you can think about that as we go through the next example, which is こんな小さな町でさえ大きな犯罪は起こり得ます. So even in a small town like this, it's possible for major crime to occur. So こんな 小さな町. So a town as small as this, でさい. Even in a town as small as this, 大きな犯罪. So big crime. Wa, and that's a new topic, and emphasizing what comes next. The most important part of this is, because of that emphasizing wa, 起こり得ます. It's possible to occur. It's possible for major crime to occur. Now, this sentence could not be read 起こりうます because it's in the mas form. Only one eru is in its dictionary form, and positive dictionary form at that. So 起こり得ます. Next sentence is 運転中の事故は起こり得るので注意しなければいけません. So it is possible for accidents to occur when driving, so you must be careful. Breaking this one down, it's 運転中, so while driving. 運転中の事故. So accidents while driving. Wa, that's a topic. 起こり得るので. Now this is eru in the dictionary form, so it could be read either eru or uru, and it's just going to depend on the person. Some people will say 起こりうる. Some people will say 起こり得る. Whichever one they feel is more easy, I guess. So 運転中の事故は起こり得るので it's possible for accidents to occur while driving. So 注意しなければいけません. You must be careful. 注意する means to be careful. それは秘密の情報だから A 君は知り得ないはずだよ. So that's secret information. So I expect that A couldn't know it, or it's not possible for A to know it. Breaking this one down, それは, so that, 秘密の情報, it's secret information. だから, so, A 君, so A, は, that's a new topic emphasizing what comes next. 知り得ない, so this is negative, which means it's impossible to know, or not possible to know. And because it is in the negative, it has to be read as え. So 知り得ないはずだよ. I expect that this is the case because of some common sense, right? Hazu is a common sense or there's a reason for it. You have a good reason to believe that, logical reason. And the logical reason here is that it's secret information. So I don't see any way that it's possible for A-kun to know about it. Our next one is 練習で成功しても本番で失敗することはあります. So ありえそうだね。ありえます. So even if you succeed in practice, it is possible to fail at the real event. So 練習で, so at practice or via practice, 成功しても, even if you succeed, 成功しても, 本番で, so at the real day, 本番 is the real event or the main event or the true thing you're practicing for. で、失敗, failure, すること, so the thing which is failure はありえます. So it's possible. Here we have ありえる, right? And it's in its mas form. This one's very frequent in regular conversation. So ありえます. So even if you succeed in practice, it is possible to fail at the real event. All right, the next one is 昨日の夜に注文した商品がもう届くなんてありえない。早すぎる. So impossible. The product I ordered last night is already delivered. It's too fast. Breaking it down, we have 昨日の夜, so yesterday night, に, so on yesterday night or in yesterday night, 注文した商品, so the product which I ordered. が, and that's the subject, もう届く, so already deliver, なんて, so something like the product I just ordered last night being delivered already. ありえない, it's impossible. 早すぎる, it's too fast. I think this is our last example. It's この公園は静かなので読書し得るいい環境です. So this park is quiet, so it's a good environment where reading is possible. この公園, this park は静かなので it's quiet. So, and we need the na between 静か and ので because 静か is a na adjective. So 静かなので読書 is reading. し得る possible to read. し得る it's possible to read here. いい環境です so that 読書し得るい those are both modifying 環境 so it's an environment that is possible to read and good. So possible to read and good. A little bit weird in English, but I translated it here as this park is quiet, so it's a good environment where reading is possible. Which brings us to the continuation of our story from last week. The main character who is speaking, the narrator, was on his way home from a party with his friend, not his friend, his junior, his kohai, and they passed by a shrine, which was a small shrine that was purple, but as far as this guy knows, that place is not purple because it's a very famous shrine that he passes every single day, and he can't imagine it being purple. So let's go ahead and learn a little bit more about that. Yuki's going to read it for us tonight. So let's go ahead and see what we got. お願いします。
紫の神社は珍しいけれどあり得るものだ。でも毎日通っている道のこの神社は紫なはずがない。だからおかしいと思ったのに、なぜこんなバカなことをしてしまったんだろう。ゲーセンのチケットが賽銭箱に入った瞬間、体験したことがない痛みが雷のように足元から頭まで走って目の前が真っ暗になった。最後に覚えているのは体が落ちていくような感覚だった。
All right, let's go ahead and break this down. We'll have Yuki read this first part one more time. お願いします。
紫の神社は珍しいけれどあり得るものだ。でも毎日通っている道のこの神社は紫なはずがない。だからおかしいと思ったのになぜこんなバカなことをしてしまったんだろう。
So purple shrines are unusual, but they are possible. But I'm quite sure that this shrine on this road that I visit every day is not purple. Despite thinking that was strange, why did I do something this stupid? So if you remember from the last lesson, what the person did is their junior threw in a coin, a 5 yen coin, into the offering box in front of the shrine, which there always is in front of shrines. And this guy checked his wallet, and he had used all his money that night at their party. So all he had was a game center ticket, and he threw that in. And that's where our story ended last week. So what he's saying here is Murasaki no jinja, so a pink shrine, wa topic.
Purple shrine.
Was that right? Purple shrine, right. Wa mezurashii keredo, it's unusual, but arieru mono da, it's a thing which is possible. Da. Demo, but mainichi, every day, kayotteiru michi, a street which I visit every day or walk down every single day. No. Kono jinja wa, so this shrine. So this shrine which I visit every day or pass by every day. Wa topic. Murasaki na hazu ga nai. So hazu ga nai is from our last lesson. It's still lesson 9, but last time we did this. And it means, of course, that I don't expect that it's possible. So I don't expect that it's possible that this shrine is purple. Since I visit it every day, that's my logic. I must visit every day, and it wasn't purple any other day. So, だから、so, おかしいと思ったのに, despite thinking that was strange. なぜ? Why? こんなバカなことをしてしまったんだろう. Why did I do something so stupid? And our main grammar point here is あり得るものだ. It's a thing which is possible.
ゲーセンのチケットが賽銭箱に入った瞬間、体験したことがない痛みが雷のように足元から頭まで走って目の前が真っ暗になった。
So the moment the game center ticket entered the offering box, a pain I'd never experienced ran from the soles of my feet to my head like lightning, and my eyes went completely dark. So breaking this down, we have ゲーセンのチケット. So game center is the real word, but most people just say ゲーセン for game center. And then arcade, right? So ゲーセンのチケット, so the game center ticket が賽銭箱 is the offering box に入った瞬間. So at the moment that the game center ticket entered the offering box, 体験したことがない痛み. So pain which I've never experienced. 体験 is experience. 体験する is, I guess, an N1 word that means to experience something. 体験したことがない means I've never experienced something, a pain like this. 痛みが雷のように like lightning. 足元から so from the bottom of my feet. 頭まで to my head. 走って so it ran from the bottom of my feet to my head. 目の前が so before my eyes became 真っ暗になった so became pitch black. Yeah, so my eyes went black basically. Everything went dark.
なんででしょうね。
なんででしょうね。
最後に覚えているのは体が落ちていくような感覚だった。
So the last thing I remember was the sensation of my body falling. 最後に覚えている No. So that no is nominalizing the last thing I remember. 最後に覚えているのは、体が、so my body, excuse me, 落ちていく、so going to fall, ような、like going to fall, 感覚, so sensation だった。体が落ちていくような感覚だった。The last thing I remember was the sensation of my body falling. So the question time for this section is...
どんな人生があなたにとってありえない人生ですか？
So what type of life is something that is not... it's impossible for you to even think of, right? Yeah. Okay, the first one is...
はい。牡蠣が食べれない人生なんてありえない。
So you're going to be combining nante, which we learned a couple lessons ago, with arienai here. So a life where I couldn't eat oysters. I always forget. So nante is, say something like a life where I couldn't eat oysters? Arienai. It's impossible. The next one is...
ディズニーランドに行けない人生なんてありえない。
something like a life where I can't go to Disneyland? Arienai. It's impossible. It's impossible for you to even imagine it, basically. These are both Yukis. I can imagine both of these things, no problem. Although, I could also enjoy both of those things as well. Yahoo! Deizefi! 久しぶり。
お久しぶりです。
元気ですか？
もう、はい、みんなのありえない人生募集中です。
Let's see it. Let's say hello to everyone else who came in a little bit later. Michael, hello. How's it going?
Hello.
Greg Gaines says, オーストラリアから、こんにちは。こんにちは、
ありがとうござい
Greg。
ます。
また聞くためにここにいます。ありがとうございます。よろしくお願いします。Jasmine for the win. My lovely peeps. How's it going? Tom-chan, こんばんは。Good to see ya. Lumpy message retracted. David, こんにちは。How's it going? Sounds like JoJo. Haha. Nay. Ding. Hi. Dashiel has our first question time ready to go.
はい、
Let's
あ
check
り
it
がとうございます。ベジマイトが食べられず、日本語も学べない人生なんてありえない。
大変だね。
もう、
So a life,
大変だ。
something like a life where I can't eat Vegemite and can't even study Japanese. It's impossible. I can't imagine it. Fair enough. I can imagine one without the Vegemite for sure. Because my life is already one without Vegemite, so nothing would change. The Japanese part, that would be a bummer. Michael says,
はい。家庭には、美術や絵描きばっかりの学校を通う人生なんてありえなさすぎます。
So going to a school where all the courses were either art or drawing, nothing but those, I can't imagine a life like that.
さすが数学者は
Impossible to
違
imagine.
いますね。
ありえなさすぎます。So extremely impossible to imagine. Nice.
楽しいかもしれないよ、
Yeah,
あ
you never
と。
know. I would not do very good in that school either, though. I'm pretty bad at that.
そう
Deizefi has a cute time.
音楽を聴けない人生なんてありえない。
Something like a life where I couldn't listen to music. I can't even imagine it. It's impossible, says Deizefi. Yeah, that would be pretty rough. Music is an important part
そうだ
of
ね。
life for many people. We used to listen to a lot of music, and we don't anymore. We don't listen to much music at all.
まあね、あれは聞いてるんだよ。いつもビデオ編集してる時のバックグラウンド
Not background music. That's about it. As far as finding new music, it's looking for music on Epidemic Sound to
そうそう、あと
to add to
そう
videos.
そう、なんだっけ、サウンドエフ
Sound
ェク
effects,
トとか
yeah.
聞いて
We
ん
used to
だ
listen to
よ。
music so much, but now most of the work we do, we actually have to be like thinking about new sentences or translating or editing video. So like you know, like with a lot of work, like busy work, you can sort of listen to music or things work with your hands and stuff. You can listen to music or listen to podcasts or something. Not our work. We have zero free mind time. Zero free mind time. Loopy has a cute time.
はい、ありがとうございます。外はとても寒いのでね。これはね、出かけられないなんだな、多分。
So one thing I mentioned at the beginning, I think I mentioned it, was that for things that you are able to do, capable to do, possible for you to do, you use the potential form. We don't use eru and enai for that. Eru and enai is for things that are possible to occur, things possible that are to exist or to happen, not things for you to do. If it's impossible for you to do something, use the potential form. So 出かけられない or 出られない or something like that, right?
そう。
In this case, it's 外はとても寒いので, so 寒い is an e adjective, as Yuki pointed out a moment ago, ので、出られなくて家に
いればよかっただと思う。出
あ
られない。
It's very cold outside. Going out is impossible. I see. It's not possible to go out. 出かけられない。
出かけ
It'll be better if you stay home.
難しい。これは得ないが使えないかもしれないな。
外はとても寒いので出かけられなくて家に行った方がいい。
でも
If
家
going
に
with
い
the
れば
English.
よかったわ。
過去形じゃないから It'll be better if you stay
あ、本
home.
当だね。
英語の文は過去形じゃないので、
So
for your English at least, what I would say is 外はとても寒いので出かけられなくて家に行った方がいい。家に行った方がいい。So いればよかった。いればよかった would mean that I wish I was in my house. 家にいればよかった。But you want to say it'd be better if you didn't stay home, so 行った方がいい。Okay, yeah. So, but once again, can't use eru there. So, but anyway, it looks like you got that right there. So, David's Q time.
はい、ありがとうございます。パスタが食べれない人生なんてありえない。
そうだね。
惜しいね。
So, life where you can't eat pasta. So パスタが食べれない or 食べられない人生なんてありえない。Nice. Okay. マイコ先生、ちょっと失礼と思いますが、絵を描くことのその基礎さえ知っていない僕が絵描きなどを楽しむことはありえません。
ありえません。
ありえませんね。
そう？
俺が絵を描けないってよくわかっているので、俺もそういう学校に行くなんてありえないかな。ありえないよ。
そうかいみんな。
そうだよ。
あれは数学的に考えて書くのはどうかな？
You could just make a computer do it for you then.
まあ確かにね。
Put in the numbers in a computer and make it draw for you. It still won't be as good as, well, actually, it could be even better, I guess, than normal art. But anyway.
でもドットアートとかそういうのだよね。
まあそうだね。Depending on the level of ability in programming, I guess.
アートではなくプログラミングの技術だった。
そう。はい。
はい。
Alright, good question times though. That's probably what we're gonna get. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That seems about right. So I think we can actually move on to the next section already. Let's do it.
はい、OK。
お願いします。So Yuki will be back for the next story and question time. So let's go ahead and get
じゃあまたね。
back here. Bye-bye. Alright, so let me get one more quick drink out of this giant bottle. Okay, so our next section is without even ing, without even doing, for example. And this is もしない. It just means without even, or even without doing something, or without even doing something. And once again, for this one, just like the last one, we take the mas stem, which is, of course, if you're going to make the mas form of a verb, which we learned in Genki Lesson 3, you just cut off the mas, and that's the stem, whatever's left over. So for taberu, it would be tabe. That's the stem. For asobu, it would be asobi, because that's where you'd add mas. That's why you call it the mas stem, for those of you who are kind of new and just hanging out. So the mas stem, and you add mo shinai. So that would mean without even doing the verb, whatever that verb is. So if the verb were eat, tabe mo shinai means without even eating. Asobi mo shinai means without even playing. And for some reason, every time I hear a verb plus mo shinai, I feel like I'm rhyming. So asobi mo shinai, it feels very rhythmic to me, but I don't think it's supposed to be. But just to me, for some reason, it feels very rhythmic. That's it. That's all it means without even doing whatever the verb is. So our first example sentence is 勉強もしないでテストで良い点が取れるなんてありえないよ. So we've got a couple grammar points here. The first thing to point out here is that for suru verbs, you're mostly going to have the mo shinai attached directly to the noun itself. The noun that is, because suru verbs are actually just a noun with suru attached to it, right? So for mo shinai situations, you're just going to have the noun itself. So 勉強もしない means to not even study, without even studying. So 勉強もしないで, this de is the de form of, well, the negative de, the negative form of a verb, the negative short form of a verb, the negative te form of a verb, I guess, right? So しない becomes しないで, and we're using it here so we can attach it to the next part of the sentence. So 勉強もしないでテストで, so via a test, 良い点, good grade, が, that's a subject, 取れる, able to get, なんて. So this is just like our last section, ありえないよ, it's impossible. So without even studying, it's not possible to do something like get a good grade or a good score on the test, you know? That you know is the yo particle. Our next one is 食べもしないでおいしくないなんて言えません. So you can't say something like it tastes bad without even eating it. Which, there's a word for that. It's called 食わず嫌い. I'm going to pop that in chat. 食わず嫌い. That's one of my favorite words. 食わず嫌い. It's not really a word. It's more of a combination of two words, but it's a set phrase. And it means to not like something without eating it. Exactly what it says, actually. 食わず嫌い. So this whole sentence basically describes 食わず嫌い. So 食べもしないで, so without even eating. おいしくないなんて, something like it's not delicious. 言えません. You can't say something like it's not delicious without even eating. Question time preview. This is just once again to give you an idea of what's coming at the end of the section so you can sort of think about what you'd like to give an answer. How you'd like to answer it. That's better English. So the question time for this section is going to be 〇〇もしないでうまくいくわけがないよと何かを失敗した友達に注意してください. So please sort of caution your friend who's failed, or just make a sentence like this, either way. And the sentence is something something without even doing something something でうまくいくわけがないよ. So it means it's not possible, or there's no way that you'll do well if you don't do this thing. So for example, サッカーの練習もしないで. So without even practicing soccer, 試合で, so at the game or via the game, うまくいくわけがないよ. So there's no way that you'll do well at the game if you don't even practice soccer, or without even practicing soccer. There you go. So something like that is what you're going to be thinking about for the question time. When we get there, we've got a few more example sentences to go through. Before that, so 人の気持ちを知りもしないで攻撃的なことを言うのは良くないと思います. So attacking someone without even knowing their feelings is not good, I think. So let's break this one down. We have 人の気持ち, so someone's feelings or people's feelings. を, that's the direct object of 知りもしないで, so without even knowing or understanding someone's feelings or a person's feelings. 攻撃的 is like aggressive or attacking. なこと, so a thing that is aggressive or attacking. を言う, so saying a thing that is attacking or aggressive. のは, so that whole thing is being nominalized with the no there. のは, and emphasizing what comes next. This is the most important part. 良くない, it's not good. と思います, I think. So attacking someone without even knowing their feelings is not good, I think. Our next sentence is 息子は友達と遊びもしないでうちで勉強ばかりしている. So my son does nothing but study at home without even playing with his friends. So 息子, my son, は, he's the topic, 友達と, so with his friends, 遊びもしないで, so without even playing with his friends, うちで, so via the house or at home, 勉強ばかり, nothing but studying, している, he's doing nothing but studying. So my son does nothing but study at home without even playing with his friends. 犬は遊ぶのに夢中で、僕の声に振り向きもしない。So the dog is absorbed in its play. It doesn't even look when I call. So 犬は, 犬 is the topic, the dog. 遊ぶのに, so 遊ぶのに夢中. So he's absorbed in his play. 夢中 is to be absorbed in something. So 遊ぶのに夢中で. So he's the thing which is play, no, ni, so in the direction of that, 夢中, he's absorbed in it. So he's absorbed in his play. De, and 僕の声, so my voice, ni, in that direction, 振り向き, 振り向く is to look back at someone. So 振り向きもしない. So he doesn't even look back when I call. オレンジの皮でお皿洗いするなんて考えもしなかった。So I never even thought of something like washing dishes with orange peels. So 考えもしない or 考えもしなかった is actually a common phrase. Idiomatic expression, I think, is the word that Quartet used, which means never even thought of something. There's three of these phrases I think that Quartet brings up. One is 考えもしない or しなかった。想像もしなかった, so never even imagined. And I believe the other one is 思いつきもしなかった. So yeah, and that one is also never thought of. But both 考えもしなかった and 思いつきもしなかった, it never even came to my mind is the second one. So オレンジの皮, so orange peels. De, so using those or utilizing those. お皿洗い, so washing dishes. するなんて, so something like washing dishes with orange peels. 考えもしなかった. I never even thought of something like washing dishes with orange peels. And that actually works. When we were in, どこだったっけ? New Zealand, right? Yeah, we were in New Zealand and we were on we were like a week out in the not the bush because it's New Zealand, but in the middle of nowhere, just out in the middle of nowhere, hiking. There's no towns. We had about a week through the backcountry, and we had no dish soap. So what we did have was mikan, oranges. So we were able to wash our dishes with the orange peels because orange peel actually cleans away oil, just like soap. It was pretty impressive. I was pretty surprised. It's something that you can do. I never even thought of something like washing dishes with orange peels, but Yuki had that knowledge, so we did it, and it worked. はい、僕のアイディアが大失敗するなんて想像もしなかった. So this is the other one that I gave, the other idiomatic expression, which is never even imagined. So 僕のアイディア, my idea が, that's the subject, 大失敗する. So 大失敗するなんて, so something like failing spectacularly. Failing spectacularly. So a big failure is 大失敗するなんて. So something like my big idea or my idea failing spectacularly, 想像もしなかった. I never even imagined something like that. いつも A 君は周りが思いつきもしないユニークなものを作っている. So A always makes unique things that those around him would never even think of. So いつも all the time. A 君は so A, he's this topic. 周りが so this 周り means the people around him. That's all combined in this one little word. 周りが they're the subject. 思いつきもしない so wouldn't even think of or wouldn't even come to their minds. Unique, and that expression is modifying unique なもの so unique things that people around him would never even think of. を作っている He's making unique things that other people around him would never even think of all the time. Which brings us to our story, the continuation of our story, which unfortunately is not going to end today. So let's get Yuki over here. It's going to have to continue into lesson 10.
はい。
Oh well.
その日から毎日オレンジピールで食器を洗っているユキです。
今はしてねえだろ。
毎日みかん食べてます。その
We
た
are
めに
doing
ね
that actually. はい、お願いします。
はい。次の瞬間、アラームの音で目が覚めた。あれ、いつ帰ったっけ？あれは夢だったのか？飲みすぎたのか？と思った。アラームを止めようとして携帯を取って時間を見た。やばい、8時だ。仕事に間に合わない。昨日の服のまま駅へ走り出した。ギリギリ仕事に間に合った。その日最初に会ったのは後輩だった。あれ、先輩、服を着替えもしないで仕事に来るくらい酔っ払っていましたか？あの神社で別れたとき平気そうでしたが、あれは夢じゃなかった。
後輩は新しい新しい後輩が出たね。はい、お願いします。One more time,
はい
full speed.
次の瞬間、アラームの音で目が覚めた。あれ、いつ帰ったっけ？あれは夢だったのか？飲みすぎたのか？と思った。
So the next moment, I awoke to my alarm. Huh? When did I come home? Was that a dream? Did I drink too much? I thought. So 次の瞬間. So the next moment. アラームの音. So the sound of the alarm. で, so via that sound, 目が覚めた. I awoke. あれ? Huh? いつ帰ったっけ? That small 2 plus K means it's like I'm expressing forgetfulness about what they're saying. So when did I come home again? So いつ帰ったっけ? あれは夢だったのか? So was it a dream? 飲みすぎたのか? Did I drink too much? と思った。So he thought, or I thought.
アラームを止めようとして携帯を取って時間を見た。やばい、8時だ。仕事に間に合わない。昨日の服のまま駅へ走り出した。ギリギリ仕事に間に合った。その日、最初に会ったのは後輩だった。
So I went to stop my alarm, grabbed my phone, and looked at the time. Crap, it's 8! I'll be late for work. I ran towards the station in yesterday's clothes. I barely made it on time. That day, the first person I met was my junior. So, アラーム alarm を止めようとして、so I went to stop my alarm. 携帯を取って、I grabbed my phone. 時間も見た. And I saw the time. Or I looked at the time. やばい! Oh no! 8時だ! It's 8 o'clock! 仕事に間に合わない. I won't be on time for work. 仕事に間に合わない. 間に合う is to be on time. 昨日の服のまま. So, no mama is just something doesn't change. It stays in that state. So, 昨日の服. So, yesterday's clothes. No mama means just in yesterday's clothes still. 駅へ走り出した. So, I started to run towards the station. 走り出す. That 出す. I actually did a video on that 出す a long time ago, over 2 years ago. And it basically means to start doing that thing suddenly. So, 走り出した means I started running towards the station. ギリギリ, so just barely. 仕事に, so at work. 間に合った. I made it on time. その日, that day. 最初に会ったのは, so the first person I met that day. 最初に会ったのは, the no is nominalizing first met. のは後輩だった was my junior.
あれ、先輩。
どうぞ。あ、そっか。見てなかった。ごめん。見てなかった。
あ、ごめん。ちょっと髪なぶってた。
あ、いいよ、いいよ。
あれ、先輩。服を着替えもしないで仕事に来るくらい酔っ払っていましたか？あの神社で別れた時平気そうでしたが、あれは夢じゃなかった。
なんかだんだんヤンキーになってきたね。
先輩、後輩調子出すからね。
そうだね。Ha, senior, were you so drunk that you came to work without even changing your clothes? When we split up at the shrine, you seemed fine, but that wasn't a dream. So breaking this down, we've got あれ senpai. So hey, senior. 服を so clothes を着替えもしないで so without even changing your clothes. To change your clothes is 着替える so without even changing your clothes. で so that's just connecting to the next part. 仕事に so in the direction of work. 来るくらい so that kurai is from a couple weeks ago, and it's to the extent that you come to work without even changing your clothes. 酔っ払っていましたか? You were drunk. あの神社で so at that shrine 別れた時 so when we split up at that shrine 平気そうでしたが so 平気 means to be fine, just fine basically. 平気そうでしたが you seemed fine but で the narrator says あれは so that 夢じゃなかった it wasn't a dream. And that's where we finished today. The story is going to continue. I tried to wrap it up this week, but I needed more time to finish the story.
まあ
So
セクションが足りなかった。
there wasn't enough sections. We only had 2 sections today. So that's where the story ends. I need 2 or 3 more sections, I think, to finish this story completely. 2 I could probably do, but 3 should do it. Hi, question time is...
はい。〇〇もしないでうまくいくわけがないよと何かを失敗した友達に注意してください。
So please tell someone who is not doing well or has failed at something, or just make a sentence like this, either way, where it is without doing something, there's no way you'll do okay or that you'll do well. So 何々もしないでうまくいく, so do well, わけがない. That わけがない is from last week, and it means there's no way that you'll do well. Well, the うまくいく means to do well. But anyway, the first example is...
はい。クッキーのレシピも見ないで。
クッキーのレシピを。
しまった。
いえ。
クッキーのレシピを見もしないでうまく焼けるわけがないよ。
So, without even looking at the recipe for the cookies, うまく焼けるわけがないよ. There's no way that you can bake them well. So, クッキーのレシピを見もしないで. So, without even looking at the cookie recipe. うまく焼ける. So, 焼ける is to bake something or to cook fry something. Fry or bake. So, bake well, わけがないよ. There's no way. The next one was...
サッカーの練習もしないで試合でうまくいくわけがないよ。
So, without even practicing for soccer, there's no way you'll do well at the game. サッカーの練習, so soccer practice もしないで without even doing that. 試合で, so at the game, うまくいくわけがないよ. There's no way that you'll do well. So how about you guys? Looks like we've got a few here. Do you actually drink carbonated water, or was it uncommon to drink carbonated water back home as it is in Japan as well? Sorry, I was wondering. For a while, like maybe 2 years ago, 1 or 2 years ago, I actually did drink carbonated water quite a bit. I do not now. This is tap water, but what I do is when I go to the gym, instead of buying a bottle, which is silly, I'll usually buy one of these at the convenience store, and then I'll use this for tap water for like 2 weeks.
ねえ、
And
ケチだよね。
then I'll get rid of then I'll recycle the bottle. I'll buy a new one at the convenience store, and then I'll use that for 2 weeks for tap water. Because they start to smell weird after that.
あ、
And
よく洗
I've
って。
never found a good water bottle in Japan that doesn't start smelling bad after like a month. Like a real water bottle. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the water here or what, but it never goes well. So I just do that.
すいませんね、ケチなことがバレちゃって。
And I usually prefer smaller water bottles, but recently we've been running much longer distances.
まあ、
So I need more water when I'm at the gym. And the water at the gym is terrible. So I want to bring my water from home. All right, we've got a few questions. But yeah, I do drink carbonated water sometimes. And it's quite common in Japan, but I don't really drink it much anymore. Okay, I don't know why. Days FE has the first question time for this section.
はい。漢字の復習もしないで漢字を覚えられるわけがないよ。
そうだよね. Without even reviewing kanji, there's no way you can memorize them. Days, that is true. I need to go. I do need to just go back and focus on kanji, I feel like. I've tried to just be able to pick them back up through reading, because I knew a ton of kanji a long time ago, but when I was away from Japan for over a year, I lost a lot of them, and I figured I could just pick them up again by reading a lot. But this channel and the website is my entire life, so I can't actually read enough to pick up enough kanji just from reading anymore. So I think I actually have to focus on actually learning some kanji again, some of the more advanced ones again. Anyway, それ知ってます。okay, that's
食わ
talking to
ず
you ね。
嫌いの
食わず
話
嫌いね。
だね。
picky の、はい、翻訳として使っていましたが、そう。好き嫌いと、そう。食わず嫌い just means to not like without eating. はい。
はい、ダシエルの Q タイムかな？
Yes、お願いします。
はい。日本語の練習もしないで日本を満喫できるわけがない。
Yeah, no, that's probably true. I don't think you can
まあ
fully
そう
enjoy
だよ
it. Yeah,
ね。
that's probably
そう
true.
だよね。
So,
もう100% でいくと
yeah, there's a
もう
lot of things you can't enjoy. There's a ton of things you can't enjoy if you don't learn the language in any country, for sure. So, 日本語を練習もしないで without even studying Japanese, 日本を満喫できるわけがない. So, there's no way you can fully enjoy Japan without learning the language. Absolutely. And yeah, I used to actually, Michael, as well, when I was starting out, translate picky as kuwazugirai because I couldn't figure out what was picky. Nobody could tell me what picky was, so that's the best thing I could think of. And then when I learned more about Japanese, I realized that kuwazugirai, it was just literally mojidori. It was without eating, hate. And I was like, okay, that's not quite picky. That's a very specific kind of picky. So I had to figure that one out for myself. Took a while as well. I used to translate it as picky as well. And then I learned about kodawaru. Like, okay, that makes a little more sense. Hi, or ski kirai. Yeah, ski kirai is also very, very common. Okay, we've got.
あ、ルンビありがとう。ルンビありがとう。でもね、私毎日みかんの皮でね、皿洗ってっから。
いやそんなことないよ。はい、ちなみに2つのご報告があります。はい、日本語の勉強を始めてから今月で1年になっておめでとうございます。
頑張ってる。
はい。先々週受けたJLPT N2 と同じくらいの資格の合格ができました。おめでとうございます。デイゼフィー。そして先週の火曜日からあるサイバーセキュリティ会社でテクニカル翻訳者として働くことになりました。これからも頑張ります。デイゼフィーおめでとうございます。すごい。
優等生だな。
Wonderful. Good job. Wow. Congratulations.
おめでとうございます。
Those are some happy announcements.
はい。ねえ。嬉しいよね。
いいね。
みんなこんな風に毎回頑張ってくれて、もうゆきさんは泣きそうですよ、本当。
おめでとうございます。素晴らしい。目が覚めてすぐに走り出す。
マイク。焦って
シャワーや着替えもしなかった。そう。結論。先輩さんは臭いです。そう。先輩がちょっと臭い。あときっとボロボロだ。
ね、だから後輩に舐められちゃうんですよ。
そう。大変お世話になります。いや。
お疲れ様でした。
お疲れ様です。
頑張ってよかったね。
ね、よかった。これからも頑張りましょう。That sounds like it's gonna be a fun job. Tough and fun.
ね、
So,
すごいね。
You're gonna pass us both up in no time.
やばい、私も抜かれてしまうんや。DJFE に。
いいね。
私もきっと生徒の皆さんから日本語上手ですねって言われる日が来る。
いいですね。よかった。Alright.
はい。嬉しいです。
はい。Me too. Alright, those are good cue times. I'm gonna give you guys some time to answer a few more because today was very, very short. But I'm gonna say this and then just give some short little announcements. So, thumbs up を攻撃してください. Please attack the thumbs up button. If you didn't like this stream, hit the thumbs down twice. That's a requirement. チャンネル登録お願いします. If you've made it to this point in the video, this was quite a short video, so you might not be subscribed. If it was longer, you should be. If you're not this time, I'll forgive it. But you should subscribe anyway and hit that bell so that you know when we go live next time. ね。はい。
すいません。
うん。
私、
うん。
ちょっと前のセクションの話になっちゃうんですけど、より、
はい。 あ、いいですよ。
LA 内のセクションの話になっちゃうんですけど、さ、ルンピがさ、あれ、その出かけられないのやつを LA 内使えないっていうさ、Q タイムで間違えてくれたじゃないですか。
はいはいはい。
で、なんでその単純なさ、文章で、なんか、出かけるとか言えないのかなって考えたのね。
はい。
で、そういうシンプルな時に、
うん
なんてありえるありえないを使うことによってそれが同じように表現できるんじゃないかなと思って、なんかそれをなんか言おうと思ったんですけどなんか出かけるだけじゃさ、
出かけるなんてありえない。
そうすればなんか impossible to go out ってなる。
出かけるなんてありえない
とか、
状況だから
とか、
うちに行った方がいいとかって、そうだね。
とか、なんかただ食べるとかを
食べるのはありえない。
えないとか言えないじゃん。
そうだね。
そういうの、食べるなんてありえない。で、そういうなんかシンプルの時にその得る得ないがそのシンプルのバーブにつけれないから、ありえるありえないをそのコンバインして。
そうだね。
いや、
I mean, it's still easier just to say 出かけられない。But yeah, you could sort of have the same effect. It's a little bit more dramatic, actually, just saying you can't go out. So, 出かけられない just means you can't go out. So, she was thinking about your question, Limpy, because not your question, but your cue time. She was trying to think about why you can't say 食べえない or 食べえる or 出かけえない. Why can't you do that? And she was thinking about that. I guess, and she came up with a way you could use ありえる and ありえない to sort of use them with regular verbs like that. And that was, the example was 食べるのは or no, 食べるのは so the thing which is eating ありえない so it's impossible for me to do something like eat. So for your situation back then, it could have been something like 出かけるなんてありえない so doing something like going out in this, impossible. だからうちに行った方がいい so you should say at home. So she's just thinking of ways you could use ありえる or ありえない with a normal verb like that. And you could use it with ありえる and ありえない by nominalizing the verb before it, the regular verb like 食べる or 出かける or something like that. So 出かけるのはありえない. It's impossible to go out in this weather or something, right? So there was just something that she was thinking of that she wanted to tell you guys. All right. David has a cue time. お願いします。
はい。記事にだよね。記事に休息もしないでうまく記事を休ませもしないでだ。これ難しいね。そのパンとかタルトとかケーキとか作る時の、銅を休ませることは生地を休ませるっていうの。
はい。
いつもね。
生地を休ませる。生地を休ませる。
そう。だから生地を休ませもしないでうまくピザを作れないよ。
はい。Okay. So 生地をnot that kiji. Is there kanji for that kiji?
それ。
This one? Is kiji, is that yeast? No? What is it? Uncooked dough. はい。
そうそう。
生地を休ませる。休ませもしない。休ませもしないで。はい。And then うまくピザを作れないよ。
そう。
And then from the rest of that, you're fine.
そう。
Okay, so I just threw the kanji in there for fun. So 生地を休ませもしないで。And that's because to rest the dough, or to, I don't know whether it actually is in English, but to let the dough sit, that's what we say. To let the dough sit is 生地を休ませる. To let it sit, to allow it to sit, is what we use in Japanese. So I just learned that right now. So I shouldn't say what we use in Japanese because I've never used it. But it's a cooking word. TIMR かな？
なんだいそれは。
Cue timer. Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries. わかった。本当にありがとう。いいえ、こちらこそ。
よかったです。
All right. So the things that I wanted to mention after we did the little outro there is that we were talking about last week splitting lessons up into 3 parts and then maybe doing a practice stream with all the parts together. Thought about it some more, and last week's 3 sections seemed to be the perfect amount for a stream to still have energy on our end and to keep it sort of on its limit of not too little, but not too much to keep in people's heads, I feel like, and like a decent amount of time for this. Today was only 2, and if we split it up into 4 sections for each lesson, we figured we can do it in a month, just like we've been doing, but there will be a little bit more bite size. So generally, most of the sections in Quartet from here on out are, I believe, 11 or 12 sections, just 11, maybe 12. So each
11.
section will be 3,
11.
3 basically. So it'll be 3, 3, 3, and then 2. And we can hang out a little bit on the 2 live stream and just talk. But we decided to go ahead and do that and not do a practice stream. Since Yuki's been hanging out the past few lessons on the regular streams anyway and doing question times with us, we decided that instead of just doing a chill out practice stream, since we're already doing this, splitting them up into smaller sections seems to make more sense for both our sanity, and it just makes more sense as we're getting into more difficult stuff. It's taking a lot longer to make them as we get into higher level stuff. So it makes more sense to split it up. And it takes a lot longer to explain it and to go through, all of these sections. So 4 sections per lesson, split up into 3, 3, 3, 2. And then we're probably going to take a week off after each lesson to get out for the website one of the Genki bonus grammar sentence videos and probably release a standalone video, not always, but sometimes on that Sunday where we don't do a live stream. From here on out until we finish Quartet. So that's sort of the plan going forward for now. Okay? All right. Michael has a cue time.
はい。難しいやつが来てしまいました。まっとうの道を怖がって踏み出しもしないで成長できるわけがない。
はい。そうだね。
未踏だ。未踏か。
そう、
ごめんね。
未踏の道を怖がって踏み出しもしないで成長できるわけがない。So without stepping 未踏の道を怖がって踏み出しもしない. So without even stepping onto an untrodden road due to fear, there's no way you can 成長 is, what's the good English for that? Not grow up, but to improve.
そうですね。
To improve.
improve だ。
Or just to grow. But in this situation, I feel like it would be improve.
はい。
But yes, good sense, Michael.
やばい、私、未踏が読めないなんて恥ずかしいよ。
There's なんて just naturally popped out. 未踏、大丈夫、俺も読めなかったよ。
マイコにさ、ね、いつ、なんか来週ぐらいに言われちゃうよ。ゆきさん、日本語上手ですね。そう、ありがとう。
Dan says to subscribe to the podcast channel. Yes, please do. On the next podcast channel, we already announced this on all the other things, but we sort of announced our getting... Oh, that's not going to show up. Oh, there it is. Because our faces are on the screen. Oh, well. So, yeah. We're married. We've been married since November. But we just got our rings. So, we just got our rings last week. So the next podcast is talking about that a little bit. はい。よろしくお願いいたします。
マイコがいいことをせっかく言ってくれたのに私がそれを踏みにじってしまった。
いいえ、ネイティブなどが日本語上手来るなんてありえませんよ。素晴らしい。
素晴らしい。もう。
はずみです。おめでとうございます。ありがとうございます。I guess we only announced it on Facebook and Twitter. So that makes sense. Did we announce it anywhere else?
Discord でも言ってなかった。
I put it on Discord too, but not on like an announcements channel, just in like the pictures channel. So not many people saw it. ありがとうございます。So that's the next podcast.
ありがとうございます。そう、明日のね、ポッドキャストで出ますから。
We got married at the end of November.
そう。
But then the rings came last week.
Yay!
So then we announced it.
ついに来たよ。
ありがとうございます。
ね。 名字も変わらなくてね、何も変わらないと思いきや。
はい。
ありがとう。
So, on that note, I think we're going to call it a night. Thank you for hanging out, everyone, next week. So there will be no live stream next week. Instead, we're going to be releasing a new video. It's a beginner-focused video, but if you want to check it out anyway, we worked really hard on it, so it'd be awesome. There's some fun skits in it. Yuki has some comedy moments. It's only 8 or 9 minutes. We'd love if you check it out. That'll be next Sunday, I believe I'm going to release it, since we won't have a live stream. So at around this time, maybe 10 o'clock, we'll probably drop it. Right now it's 10:15, so right around this time, I'll probably drop that new video. Yeah. Should be fun.
ね。
All right, guys. So have a wonderful week.
はい。
And we will see you in the next one, hopefully.
はい。いい1週間をね。
ね、have a good week, yes.
はい。
いい1週間を過ごしてください。
そう、来週なくて。ね、ちょっと寂しいけど、ね。
ちょっと寂しいけど、また会いましょう。See you in 2 weeks, I guess.
うん。
All right, for lesson 10.
はい。
All right. Have a good night, guys. Thank you so much.
はい、来てくれてありがとう。
また次のビデオで会いましょうね。
はい、みんなもお疲れ様でした。バイバイ。
お疲れ様でした。Planning to use these books to learn Japanese in 2022? We explain all the grammar from these books and more here on YouTube in detail. And on ToKiniAndy.com, we have tons of extra grammar explanations, interactive practice exercises with Yuki and I, native shadowing exercises so you can get practice speaking even when you're by yourself, tests, and even progress bars to track your progress through the book. We also plan on beginning to add tons of level-appropriate immersion material throughout 2022. We even have a new exclusive community for members where they can ask questions, help each other, and even play silly Japanese word games. Over 1,800 people have already utilized the ToKini Andy and Yuki premium content. Join the community today and kickstart your Japanese learning journey.